Tonight, back to full capacity as the steel keeps coming, a positive sign ahead of the Steelworks sale. And a cash boost to help Indigenous mothers and their new babies.
This is Southern Cross News with Tim Hatfield.
Good evening. Whyala's Steelworks are running at close to capacity, with market conditions helping them to increase production. While it's just one piece of the whole operation, it's an improvement on 12 months ago when the site was threatened with closure. John Hunt with the details.
A year ago, adverse conditions put the future of the Whyala Steelworks in doubt as Arium looked to return to profitability. A year on, the blast furnace is running at 90% capacity, thanks to market conditions and an increase in demand. The furnace is producing 3,250 tonnes of steel a day, which is a slight increase since the beginning of the year. Management told Southern Cross News the increase is based on a business decision and reflects the current state of the global commodity market. And while they're pleased with the output, they say it's just one part of the machine that is Arium Whyala. But there's no doubt the increase in customers has had a significant impact on the increase of steel product. The Steelworks has a 70,000 tonne order to supply rail tracks to the Adelaide to Tarcoola rail project, with 10,000 already produced. Demands increase and locals are benefiting, with 44 new employees recruited for a fourth shift at the rolling mills, something unthinkable a few years ago. In an internal email last week, Administrator Mark Mentha also noted that improvements to processes have helped reduce costs and improve efficiency. A 21-day shutdown at the pellet plant conducted last year has helped improve the plant's productivity. Meanwhile, the Steelworks have trialled a new hybrid pellet, which converts lower grades of iron ore into high quality, reducing the cost of making steel. So it all adds up to what is a promising outlook for the Steelworks ahead of its sale later this year. And considering many predicted the end for the 50-year-old Steelworks when Arium went into administration, there's hope there's a long-term future for this plant.
John Hunt reporting there. The state government will finally get expanded powers over the electricity grid after the opposition agreed to support the changes. While Labor says it'll help lower prices and ensure stability, the opposition warns this is their last chance to deliver on their promises.
Blackouts in September 2016 and February forced the state government to demand more control over our electricity infrastructure. Of the proposed reform, one of which would allow the Energy Minister Tom Koutsantonis to force companies to turn generators on when required. It'll now pass Parliament after the Liberals agreed to support the measures. Regional MPs welcoming the move.
So it's treating electricity supply as an essential service and not just a profit-making entity.
But the opposition isn't celebrating the changes just yet. The Shadow Energy Minister says the government has talked big about these reforms, lowering prices and guaranteeing stability, and now it's time to deliver.
What that means is now the government must deliver. They must reduce electricity prices because they will be given these powers.
But Mr Hughes says businesses from Arium right down to small operators won't be left in the dark again. He also says the changes are opening doors to more renewable energy storage projects in the Upper Spencer Gulf.
Almost an avalanche of investment and potential investment in projects, and especially projects in our part of the state.
Though Mr Van Holst-Pelkin says businesses and residents want stable base load power, adding that should be the first priority.
From the smallest business to the largest employer, they are all struggling with unacceptably high electricity prices.
Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
The Copper Coast on the York Peninsula is undergoing some major transformations this year, and as part of that, Kadena's CBD is receiving a facelift and a new sporting complex which will benefit the whole region.
Metal machines are overtaking some of Kadena's streets, but once they leave, the CBD will be transformed and business will be back to normal.
So we're starting to interfere with, I suppose, the businesses and that's why we're really focusing on communication with the public and the businesses at the moment.
The CBD upgrade was initiated by the Chamber of Commerce and the council followed through with the project.
We've been working with them, and the strategy of the free giveaways and how we would communicate has been done in really close partnership with them.
Business is down in the area, but the strategies the groups have implemented are easing the pain.
It's busy time for the Copper Coast, but hopefully we will get through this little hump and then reap the benefits long term.
The major sports complex worth millions of dollars is also coming along nicely. Mr Harder recently paid the site a visit.
There must have been 30 different trades running around, and a lot of those were local trades, so it was really good to see locals involved with it.
And now the main structure is in place, it's full steam ahead.
We're really pleased with that, how that project is progressing, and now the roof's on and the walls are going up. It's weather can't be delayed by weather, so it's a good position to be in.
In Kadena, Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
Port Augusta's Pikawea Aboriginal Health Service is going to use a $2.5 million grant to strengthen the care of new mothers and babies. Aboriginal women from across the state come to Port Augusta to give birth, and they'll now have more support than ever before.
Every year, Pikawea refers about 70 Aboriginal women to a specialist birthing program at the Port Augusta Hospital.
Port Augusta is a catchment area that has mums. Maybe they're having difficult births from up north, and of course they come down to Port Augusta where there's an obstetrician and paediatric services.
The program enables them to give birth in a clinical setting that's culturally appropriate.
Sometimes it's a bit lonely and also a bit challenging if they've come down from remote areas to what they would see as a big town.
And now Pikawea will use a $2.4 million grant from the federal government to expand its services to offer holistic care for women pre-conception right through until after birth.
Some further general practitioner hours. We'd like to employ a couple of Aboriginal health workers. We're looking at a 0.4 social worker, and we're also looking at other staff that will be able to support that, one of which is a registered midwife, so that'll assist us greatly.
Pikawea also runs the Well Women's House on Marriott Street. It's been so popular, a change to a bigger venue is on the cards.
And it's been extremely successful, but dare I say it, it's actually outgrown itself now.
The Well Women's House was opened in 2013. Lauren Rose, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. Still to come in tonight's local news, finishing touches before Port Lincoln is turned into a racetrack. The details ahead. Welcome back. Port Lincoln is in full swing for the Teakle Auto Sprint this Easter weekend, with viewing stands erected and work underway to convert the town into a racetrack. The street circuit transformation will see thousands flock trackside to catch a glimpse of the world's best supercars.
It's pedal to the metal in Port Lincoln. Work is gearing up for this weekend's auto sprint.
We've got 3 more to go up. There's one in the TAFE area and one at Harwell Court and then one at Super Cheap. So yeah, we've got 5 stands for people to actually get up in.
The stands being erected around town will also provide some wheelchair access, but bystanders are being urged to bring their own chairs.
We're not supplying seating, so if they can bring their decky, that'll be really great. They can just stand up on them if they want to, but yeah, we're really encouraging people to bring their deck chairs, sit down and enjoy the whole day.
Residents can expect some road closures tomorrow night as the streets transform into a racetrack.
Starting from Thursday night at 6 p.m, there's certain areas that'll be shut down, mainly Tasman Terrace, Eyre Street and King Street, and then Porter Street won't be shut until Saturday night, and then it'll be opened up again Sunday night.
But the inconvenience, just a small price for some high-octane racing on the EP.
Getting a V8 supercar around the streets of Lincoln will be exciting. So obviously Josh Keenan's V8 supercar, we've got Carrera Cup cars coming, so they'll be fun to watch.
The race is expected to attract upwards of 9,000 people across the weekend. Organisers are eager to show off the sprint's potential, making tickets just $10 on Saturday, $20 on Sunday, with kids under 14 free.
We want this to be, on the racing calendar for South Australia and for Australia, and make it bigger and better next time.
For more information about how to purchase tickets, visit our Facebook page. Jason Kemp, Southern Cross News.
Wallaroos' popular North Beach Caravan Park is looking to step up their setup with over $3 million worth of upgrades. At the centre of the project, a new cafe on the foreshore.
The North Beach Caravan Park in Wallaroo is a popular spot for many tourists, and now the family-friendly park has a huge upgrade in the works, which will also bring more business to the town.
Part of that is going to be the kiosk down here, the new cafe kiosk that we're going to have. That'll facilitate the people staying in the park and also the local community.
The cafe will be built where the beach meets the caravan park, and it could fast become the new coffee spot for locals.
Nice weather, they come out weekends, Sunday afternoons. It's going to be the perfect spot. We're the best swim beach we've got in South Australia, in biased opinion. The
cafe will be owned by the council, but Michael and his team at North Beach will run the business.
I think it's something that lacks out here, is that sort of food destination, somewhere that people can come, and it's going to provide that extra opportunity for employment as well throughout the local areas.
That's not the only upgrade the park will receive. More child-friendly amenities will be implemented.
We're in desperate need of a new camp kitchen, so we're going to combine a games room, camp kitchen for the kids and for the guests staying with us as well.
Locals can expect to see the changes begin in the coming months. In Wallaroo, Keziah Sullivan, Southern Cross News.
Well, time to see how we're faring at the petrol pump, and if you're heading away for Easter, now is a good time to fuel up. Here's Patrick with this week's Fuel Watch.
There's been only a few changes in the prices this week as we head into the Easter long weekend. Starting with unleaded, and the whole Spencer Gulf is holding steady. Port Pirie and Port Augusta are the cheapest at $1.25, Whyalla is on $1.29, Port Lincoln a cent cheaper. Here in Broken Hill we've barely seen any movement and remain on $1.27. Adelaide has jumped up by a cent but is still very cheap at $1.16 a litre. To diesel now, and it's great news for everyone. Port Pirie is down a cent while Port Augusta, Whyalla and Port Lincoln break even. Broken Hill continues its downward movement and Adelaide is doing the same. So there's no better time than now to top up your tank. Just remember, these prices are the regional averages and they do not reflect any one particular outlet. Be safe on the roads if you are travelling over Easter, and if you happen to find a spot that sells unleaded or diesel for cheaper during your travels, let us know on our Facebook page. Tim.
Thanks, Pat. Stay with us when we return after the break. The Silver City artist getting set to make his mark on the Apple Isle. The details ahead. Welcome back. A Broken Hill artist is looking to take his talents interstate. Jeff Demain has been behind some of the city's most famous murals and sculptures and is now planning to take his style all the way down to Tasmania.
Jeff Demain has contributed a lot to Broken Hill's art scene, and now he's heading down to the Apple Isle.
Coming from Broken Hill, it's a heritage city. It was listed a heritage city about one year ago. When I came here and invested in Launceston, I looked around, there wasn't hardly any public artwork.
Jeff got involved with public art 20 years ago when Broken Hill City Council introduced an arts walk around the CBD. Since then, he's made a name for himself, and his work speaks for itself. Even if you're just driving around the Silver City, chances are you've seen his creations. Whether it be his tribute to radio broadcasting in the outback, his carvings from the region's red gum, or a fist punching through a wall at the local airport. He aims to generate the same interest he received in the Silver City down in Launceston.
A city this size, and it's got such beautiful buildings, I think artworks would complement the buildings. It also attracts tourists. The tourists will come here, they look at the architecture and they like seeing the artworks.
But it's not just a matter of picking up a brush and breaking out the paint. He will have to find the inspiration that Broken Hill has provided him for so long.
You'd have to look at your history, the environment it's in, something to do with the history of the people here or the previous people who were living in the area with the Aboriginal.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
A skate park in Corn in the Southern Flinders Ranges is a significant step closer to becoming a reality with a $64,000 boost. But there's still a lot of fundraising to go. Council expects the park to cost in excess of $300,000.
Years ago, the idea of a skate park in Corn was born.
it was something for the kids to do here, something that they could all hang around and have a bit of fun with.
Since then, the Corn community has raised $25,000, which the Flinders Ranges Council has promised to match, and now it's won a $64,000 state government grant. But there's still a long way to go to make the dream a reality.
They keep going up, unfortunately. Every time we look at one that someone else has built, the costs increase, so we're budgeting on a project of around $350,000.
Mayor Slattery will continue applying for grants for the park, which is likely to go either in Lions Park or on the bike track adjacent to the swimming pool. He's confident the 160 students from the Corn area school would flock to it.
You know, it's still a fairly important group of children in our town, and the more we can give them to do, the more they can remain in Corn.
And sees it as an opportunity to tap into the tourism market too.
We're of the opinion that if we, build something of interest, then, people might come for a day to have a look and try it out for something different as well.
And for those looking for something to do in Corn this weekend, there's an outdoor cinema in Kanyaka on Saturday night. In Corn, Lauren Rose, Southern Cross News.
Broken Hill's future soccer stars will get a glimpse of what it takes to compete at the highest level at a clinic in July. Scottish Premier League side Celtic will visit the Silver City in the coming months to teach the city's budding footballers a few tricks of the trade.
Getting a taste of what's in store for the upcoming Celtic clinic.
To give the kids of Broken Hill an introduction, a snapshot as to what will be happening at the Celtic Academy holiday camp in July.
Yesterday, dozens of kids took to the pitch to prepare themselves for what lies ahead. Doug is encouraging all Broken Hills football stars to come to the masterclass and guarantees they'll get a kick out of it.
We have 2, possibly 3 coaches coming from Scotland who are now the Scottish champions. 2 Socceroos, Jackson Irvine and Tommy Rogic, playing for Celtic, or Irvine was, now in the English Premier League.
This week's session taught the youngsters basic Celtic junior skills, including ball control, formations and the lost art of defending. The turnout was great and the kids were keen to learn.
Regional kids don't get these opportunities. Kids in Sydney, Adelaide, Melbourne, Brisbane have got the Barcelonas and the Real Madrids of the world visiting them. And regional kids don't get those opportunities.
The clinic will be held on the 8th and 9th of July.
Well, the holiday camp is being conducted in conjunction, or I should say in partnership, with Broken Hill Junior Association. There will be information flyers going out from all of the clubs to local kids, and it'll be on their Facebook page.
Patrick Reinke, Southern Cross News.
Well, stay with us. After the break, we'll have a look at how the weather is shaping as we head into the Easter break. Welcome back. Turning to the weather now on a sunny Wednesday right across the board. Port Augusta on 26 today with 24 in Whyalla. Port Pirie on 25 and 23 in Port Lincoln. Broken Hill also sunny and 23 today. On the national satellite image, fine and sunny conditions across the region with very little in way of cloud cover. Out on the Gulf waters, the winds to 15 knots and southeasterly, seas below a metre and to the south. Sunrise around at 27. So a sunny day to wrap up this shortened week. Port Augusta on 28 with 27 in Port Pirie, Whyalla 26 the top and 25 in Port Lincoln. Broken Hill also sunny on 26. Then fine conditions right across the weekend as well. 24 then 25 for Friday and Saturday in Port Lincoln. Cleve on 24 then at 26 degrees, 28 then 29 in Woodner. Whyalla 25 for Friday and 27 for Saturday, 28 and 29 for Port Augusta. Kadena 26 both days, the same into Sunday. Port Pirie this weekend with 27 for Friday and on Sunday with 28 in between on Saturday. Clare with 24 right across, and Broken Hill 26 degrees for Friday and for Saturday as well. And that is the local news for this Wednesday evening. Tonight we're saying goodbye to our Lauren Rose, who's leaving us for a new chapter back in Adelaide, and we wish her every success with Channel 7 in the Big Smoke. You'll catch her from this weekend if you keep your eyes peeled. The rest of us will see you back here tomorrow night from 6:30. I'm Tim Hatfield from the Southern Cross News team. Enjoy your evening. Good night.